Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mabimpressions, and today I want to talk about Evil Dead, the game. This game came out May 13th, 2022, and it was developed and published by both Saber Interactive. This is not a review copy. This game $40, and it is on PC. It is exclusive to the Epic Games Store, but you can also play it on consoles. You got PlayStation and Xbox. This game is a 1v4 game, so think of it kind of like a mix between Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight. However, this game kind of puts its own twist to it, changes things around. So in Friday the 13th, you're trying to do like very specific stuff, like find this, find that, find the mask, and kill Jason. In Dead by Daylight, primarily the goal is you do a bunch of quick time events over generators, and then you try to escape while a monster kills you. In Evil Dead, it's the same kind of play, but however, the flow here is very different and there's a lot going on. So if you play as the monster, your goal is to be a sort of invisible spirit, and you want to run around gathering a lot of materials and finding the survivors. There's 4 survivors, and your goal is to kill them all before they get to summon the Necronomicon and use the spells to pretty much exorcise you. When you are playing as the survivors, you have lots of different classes. You have a leader, a warrior, a ranger, and a support class. And your job is to do pretty much the same thing for each map, but it's randomized. You have to find 3 pieces of a map. You have to do a sort of tower defense near a map, near a dagger. Then you have to go to a gigantic cultish building. That's not a building. It's a, what are they called? It's like 3 of those cultists flying around, and you have to use the daggers and kind of use like your Ghostbusters dagger to exorcise them, and then you have to summon the Necronomicon, and then you have to defend it for 2 minutes. So for $40, I think the game is decent. So this is not launched in early access. It has a little bit of single player stuff, but that's primarily just to unlock some things. The franchise is Evil Dead, so they got the movies and you got the TV show. A lot of it's based on it. I do not know what their plan is for the future of the game, but how it works right now is that it's all just Evil Dead stuff. So you have Ash from all the different types of movies. You even have the Army of Darkness, like medieval characters. And what's that? Murder cultists making Necronomicon banish spooky monsters. That's pretty much the freaking game. But what makes it like kind of different, and what I really like this over, let's say, the Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. While those are really good games in their own right and they have a huge following, I think this game has potential to surpass that just because of how fun it is. If you are playing as a survivor, you are not just running away. You can fight back. You pick up weapons. You fight with your fist. You have a bunch of special abilities. You take down lots of little minions. You take down elites. You drive cars, run things over, and you fight bosses. You are not helpless in this game unless you play alone. You really have to somewhat pair with each other or stick with each other. And if you are the monster, you are playing more than just a freaking one unit with the special abilities. You are running around placing traps, setting up advanced maneuvers for them to get around. You are possessing other units with special abilities. You are possessing elite units. You are possessing bosses with their own units. And one of the fun things is, if you put enough fear into your enemies, you can possess them. You can smack them around with a melee or use guns and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of gameplay here. And there's a good amount of meta gameplay. Later on, you're going to be figuring out because at the beginning, everyone's just like, how do you play? How do you, mess around with the game? But there's a lot of strategies here. For example, if you are starting as the boss, the enemy, you can level up by running around putting traps on the field. You can go to specific areas they're going to go and start leveling up there. Or you can try to find them yourself and really mess with them early on. And the more you play throughout a match, it's kind of like a Dota game or a League of Legends, where every match you start with level 1, and as you do more things in the game, you get experience by being the monster, by doing almost anything, putting traps down, attacking them, putting fear into them. And as the main character, the only way to get stronger is opening up crates and finding new weapons and finding armors and stuff like that, and also finding cola. You level up every single time by putting stats into different categories. For the survivors, it's like, more melee damage, more HP, more armor. for the enemy, for the boss, you go, I want better basic units. I want the boss to be stronger. I want fear to work stronger. So every time you're playing, you're sort of building a build. And before each game, there's also a loadout with experience, and you can also respec points. So you can really kind of level up and go out there. So the game doesn't have a ranking system right now. I don't know if it's going to be one in the future, but pretty much it's a quick play. There's no random, which I wish there was a random, meaning I want to click a button and I want them to randomly put me in the role of a survivor or the role of a demon. There's none of that. You have to choose one of the two roles and then you just go in there. I wish it had that. And random maybe characters. But yeah, it has a really fun game loop where you're always getting a new build each time, or you find your favorite builds and keep doing that one, and then you level up the characters. Each of the demons have their own skill trees you can mess with, and they play wildly different. Each of the characters, the classes have their own skill tree, but each character you have to level up individually, but they do have their own unique skills. This game's good. The combat's great. Attacking's fun. You can cancel during attacks. The graphics are perfect. They look good even on medium settings, which I put it on. The only way to get rid of motion blur on the PC is to go to the INI file and mess with that. I had a couple of disconnections. It said like, oh, player host has changed, so I wasn't sure if that was some peer-to-peer stuff that we're working with, or if the servers just went down because the game is too new and they're messing around with it. There's crossplay, so you know, every single game, it was always PC player, Xbox, or PlayStation, a mix of all of them. It was pretty cool. One thing that sucks is there's no push to talk. I really wish there was a push to talk. I don't know why that's there. I think it was specifically made for consoles, which you have push to talk on your party, but on your PC, it's open. There's no push to talk on PC. You have to just turn off. You have to turn it off, because you don't want open mic, especially if you're recording and streaming, right? So the game plays good. It's smooth, optimized. I had no problems. A small hiccups here or there when things are kind of stuttering and moving in, but it's cool. It's a good, fun game loop. You're the good guys, you're the bad guys. It doesn't matter. You're running around, leveling up, getting strong, and playing mind games. Stick together as the survivors or split up. It's fun. Now, all of this I'm talking about could be, you know, first initial hype for the game, but I think there is just more here overall that I personally like. I do not want to run around a map hiding around corners, putting down little pallets and trying to dodge a monster. I think that is very limiting. But here's the deal. If they want this to become a long-term game, what can they do? What can they do next besides add new maps, new monsters, and new people? This is the IP of Evil Dead, which is part of a franchise. Dead by Daylight, to give them really good credit on that. That's an original thing, but they added a ton of licensing, a ton of third-party stuff. You know, Resident Evil on there, Silent Hill stuff, even movie-based stuff. Friday the 13th, Halloween on there. Is Friday the 13th on there? But either way, Dead by Daylight is an umbrella game that's horror. Everyone knows it, but I think it's a little too old now, and new games need to come out. The problem with Evil Dead is I don't know what their plan is in the future, but once again, it's an IP that is not a sort of umbrella thing. The title itself is kind of limiting as well. It's Evil Dead, the game. It kind of sounds like a gimmick. It kind of sounds like, oh, it's just a movie-based game. But really, it's good. But they really should have called it something else, like Evil Dead Resurrection, Evil Dead Nightmare, Evil Dead something. Evil Dead the game. That's a terrible name for it. I think it's a terrible name for this. If this is a one-off game and they don't intend to do many updates to it, $40, I had fun with it, and I'm on the cusp. I'm like a 50-50 on whether or not I recommend it. If you really love Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight, this switches it up a bit, and it's an overall good experience. There's a lot of jankiness and fun. Sometimes when you get into a car, it'll fly everywhere, and a lot of animation canceling is cool and all. But yeah, it's like, it's decent. It's decent. There was a couple of small desyncs here or there, and because the crossplay, there was like slight delay playing on PC sometimes, but it was overall a really good, fun experience. I'm gonna play it more to get my money's worth out of it. But yeah, it's 50-50. If you have a bunch of friends, I think this is fun. Playing as the survivors, you're gonna have a good time because there's a lot of things you can do together. Good teamwork. And if you are even playing solo as a boss, it's good. Should you spend 40? Like I said, it's like 50-50. You have to really, really like horror games and know going in that this is pretty much just the game. You either play as a survivor or you play as the bad guy, and that's it. There's only those two game modes right now. You can play co-op against an AI, or you can play, you know, yeah, you can go co-op against the AI or be a boss against the AI themselves. And there's a couple of single-player missions which go along the lore of the movies. So you're gonna be playing as Ash, doing some, you know, some of the spoiler stuff with your girlfriend's head, etc., to unlock another sort of skins, and you unlock other characters as well. But once again, if this game, if they plan to have a long lifespan, you know, even if it's just a year plus of adding things, then it's worth the money. But if this is it and they don't add anymore, it's going to be hard to recommend. But I really love the base here. It's fun leveling up. It's fun putting skills up. It's fun randomizing everything. I like it. I'm going to keep playing it. But once again, you have to be into this game because there's no real single player stuff. It's all kill, kill, kill. But it's fun. You know, it's fun. So that's it. That's it for the review. If you're watching, leave a like. It helps a lot. Camera sub Marino for daily videos. But yeah, if you are seeing the review, please come by Twitch. That's where we're streaming it all, and I'll be uploading the playthroughs on the second channel. We'll be cutting it up. Maybe I'll have one episode where I'm a human, one episode where I'm a demon, etc. Thanks for following, Rom. I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.